Yeah. Oh, I scribble. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Everything's coming out gay. What?
So here we are, day one of the home drag king experiment. So if you watched the last episode, you'll see that I gathered together a whole bunch of stuff on my trip to the grocery store, and also raided my own kitchen cupboards and gathered together an array of items. And we're going to start today with having a look at how some of those compete to the ways that I put my drag king face looks together. And I want to show you where the magic all happens first, so follow me.
Go anytime.
The word is action. God. So, I have to say, this is the first time I've brought anyone back to this room. So you can see this whole ton of stuff in here. It's all very, very top secret. No. Here I've got a whole ton of things I brought back from China, expecting to start my own Etsy shop. Never happened. And I've got a ton of other things in here, costume fodder, props fodder. You know, when you're out and about and you find things you just know one day you're going to use, like the Eye of Newt potion bottle. Or and these are all costumes, all in their configurations. Collectively, this is about 10 times as many clothes as I actually have in the bedroom for normal wear. I'm sure that's quite the case for most drag performers. But over here, don't look, is the table of top secret paraphernalia for an act that's part of a contest. And I can't really reveal too much about this, because if I did, I'd have to kill you. So here I am at the business end of the workroom, where we make stuff. Oh yeah. And we have across the way there a desk that I generally do not work at, but I am lucky enough to have a girlfriend who is not only a jeweler, but also a very talented blacksmith, although we don't do any of that in here. But she makes stuff with metal, and she's very talented, where I am not. So we complement each other quite a lot, i.e. what that translates to is I make her make stuff for my costumes. So she does all that over there under my watchful eye. And over here is the sewing machine area and boxes of bits that stuff, you know, relates to things that I can do, like sticking on rhinestones. Very, very, very technical. And I'm actually lying on my stash. When I used to work for an upcycling social enterprise, we used to get donations. I was going to say that could be the shape of a shoe, but it looks more like the shape of an erect penis. But it is from offcuts of a shoemaker. And I've also got a ton of inner tire tubes. We've also got an amount of craft foam that we pick up for free, offcuts from a foam place. What do they do there? They make foam stuff. I don't know. And it's the offcuts. They give them away. And that comes in handy for making various prosthetics and fashioning certain extraneous appendages that you might want to put places on your person. So this is it, yeah. Alrighty then. So right now I'm going to test the products that I normally use for doing a eyebrow versus a bunch of stuff that I've just found in my house. The eyebrow or eyeshadow. Mascara, black, dark brown, whatevs, and one of these gel pen liner, eyeliner pen gel thingies, a bit like a felt tip pen. That should give you a clear. And I will do a drag eyebrow that I would normally do if I was doing a character that's got a little bit more flair or a bit more fantasy to it. Okay, so I'll just do what I normally do on this brow. And that is, namely, to darken where my natural brow line is, giving it a little bit more bushy lift and man spread. All right. And then using a bit of mascara to accentuate the hairs, going against, I want to say against the grain, but you know what I mean, right? Wow, look at that. I really do have long hair. At least one eyebrow. The other one is like stress rubbed off, balding. But yeah, that's that. And then we take, there's two ends, maybe the thicker end for this one. And we're just gonna have some fun then. And so when you're doing a bit of a character eyebrow, you can kind of extend beyond where your natural hair might be and just draw it in. And you know, I've done this for a couple of times where I've done a dark elf character, and also for the werewolf character. Yes, as you can imagine, hairier eyebrows would be apt for a werewolf, and those instances where you're doing a character that's got a little bit more of a otherworldly nature to it. Catch my drift? Yes. So yeah. And you know, there are plenty of drag kings who also do some fabulous eyebrows that are drawn on, as are, look, why don't I just give it a go here? You can get really cool and do beards. I don't know, just having a bit of a go. But you could do all sorts with one of these. It doesn't have to be always trying to look completely real. It can be dramatic, theatrical, or whatever you fancy, you know. This is literally the first time I am doing this. But we are going to go for compare and contrast. So, you know, let's just go all in. Tra-la, tra-la-la-la-la. So, what could I possibly use from my home in lieu of those three products? Well, obviously a Sharpie. I've also got your standard felt tip pen here, black, a couple of browns. First I need to find an alternative to the eyeshadow, the eyebrow powder. So I have a couple of ideas for that. One being mud, for which I do need a bit of water, I think, but let's see, because this is a cactus. Oh, it's not really mud. I might have to get a different plant that actually has mud in it. Quick, go find me a plant. We'll be right back with that.
Yeah.
I'll just keep painting away. For better versions of this, I'm going to suggest you look at some drag kings in the Scottish scene who practice this art form of painting on beards. Off the top of my head, you can look at it's not very brotherly, is it? I can't think of any right now. No, I'm joking.
Guy liner. Wig Wars winner, I predict. And Daddy Delight, who has won a large contest here in Scotland. Kudos to you, brothers. I should mention, what? I'll give Eli his time. Eli's going to get a special mention, don't you worry. Okay, so I was thinking of using some form of soil, and right now we have the sacrificial succulent. No, not really, but if I look in the bottom bit, there's enough of the soil just to tip out of the container there. So I'm going to add a bit of water to it. Don't know if this is going to go the way I thought it might. No, it's not the kind of mud that I grew up with in the Cotswolds that actually makes
You're talking about
a
clay.
paste. Am I?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I'm guessing.
Just soil, just normal earth. Just normal earth. I literally might have to go outside and just like gouge at the grassy mound with a fork, because this is not working. However, we have another option. Let's just not go outside, shall we? Let's play with fire. Perhaps I could just rely on charcoal. Oh.
Thank God you have some water.
Oh! Oh, it might be hot. Okay. So I'm just wanting to darken. Oh, it hurts. Okay. So no, that did not work.
So I think if you add some water or some
Here,
oil or Vaseline or something like that to that.
Who asked for your opinions? So Vaseline going on the eyebrow as something to which the charcoal will adhere is the theory. Ah, yeah, kind of working, isn't it? Okay, so that's that. Vaseline and charcoal from a burnt match. Now, what was the other thing? Mascara. The darkest, stickiest thing I have in my house currently is molasses, so we're going to go for that. And an applicator akin to a mascara brush, a toothbrush, and yes, I'm not going to stick it directly in the molasses jar. We are going to extract an amount of molasses from the jar, put it on the edge of a spoon, and then put the toothbrush on that so as to remain hygienic. I think I'm just succeeding now in brushing off the charcoal. So I might just leave that there before it goes too pear-shaped. Right then, next. The alternative to the gel liner pen. Now, I would like to potentially avoid indelible marker like a Sharpie initially, although I am prepared for that eventuality. But I'm going to go for dark brown felt tip pen. Oh dear. Okay, maybe it's having a hard time drawing over the crap on my eyebrow. Right, I think I'm just going to have to go for Sharpie. Oh crap. Yeah, because it's not really coping very well. Trying to draw over bloody rocks.
Oh, and Vaseline, which usually
Oh God.
is a barrier.
Yeah. Oh, flippin' heck. Definitely should have drawn on my face with a Sharpie before the other stuff. I've killed my Sharpie. Oh, it's coming back to life. Back to life. God, I really don't sing very well. Back to reality. I'm sure that will not get picked up by any algorithms searching for copyright infringement, as much as it did sound like the original. Gonna have fun trying to get this off. Now, had I not done the Vaseline and the charcoal before drawing with the Sharpie, I do think this eyebrow would look a lot crisper. It's my own fault here that that looks pretty messy. It does kind of work technically, right? Right, now get this. Oh, not as indelible as you might think you are, Sharpie, eh? Can I just say few? Okay, cut. All right, so I have asked you to ask me anything, and some of you have, and let me see what has been asked of me. How did you come up with your drag name? Asks Tegan. Who can that be? Okay, it's just my uncle back from the off license. So how did I get my drag name? So Dorian T. Fisk is actually a play on words, Dory the fish in Finding Nemo. And it was when I first started doing drag about 4 years ago. At that time, my girlfriend said that that personality of Dory the fish was very much like my personality. And I think they were trying to be complimentary. Or maybe they weren't. And so Dory the fish became Dorian T. Fisk. And Fisk, in fact, is actually an old family name. And the initials, I'll say no more. So yeah, that's how I got my drag name. Next question. Uncle's having a pie. What kinds of things do you get in creative inspiration from? So that can come in many forms. It might be that I see a particular piece of clothing or a prop, and it could also be that the show itself has a theme and I'm thinking of an act that might fit that theme, so the theme might be the inspiration. It's also quite often been a piece of music. Perhaps I can show you some of the things that I'm inspired by right now. I mean, it's just got to be something, hasn't it? It's like that. I kind of know that one day I'm going to work on an act. Probably some fantastical, mythical, goatish type beast or something. And yeah.
In the club, baby, have you ever seen a shooting star?
Now here's some extra mermaid sequin that I have after I had another costume made and kept all this. Now this I knew at some point was going to come in handy some way for something. And actually I've kind of wanted to do a Aquaman meets hentai type act, but have yet to actually fully birth that. This one, in terms of act development, is further along than just simply having a bunch of sheepskin remnants. And this one has actually gotten beyond just a piece of fabric. I have the opening minute of a mix. Yes, so if you'd like to know more about my creative process, I go into a lot more detail about how far this act has progressed beyond this piece of fabric that served as the initial point of inspiration. And if you go to my website, you can find out how to access that bonus video. And yes, keep these questions coming. As I say, you can ask me anything. It doesn't have to be about drag. What is he on? Alright, that's it. That is it.